Good morning. It is early. I'm getting my YouTube fix in and charging up some batteries. I did a post yesterday, excuse me, talking about I'm going to do a quick review, and then I think I'll do a separate video for the flight footage of this. This is the happymodel cine8, and I think some people would ask, well, why would you get something like this and not do a complete build, etc., etc.? There's a lot of questions. This comes as a kit. You get it in a awesome little box. You get this box. It's empty, but you open it up and it is full to the brim with parts and little cool electronic bags and props and stuff, and you feel like a little kid. It was awesome. But I wanted to get this because I guess this would be in the micro category, to give you an idea, because video doesn't do justice for perception and depth. This is an 85 millimeter cinewhoop. You see it? Now you don't. I mean, I'm on top of it. It is super, super tiny, and I like the fact that you can fly this anywhere around people. My kids love being chased by the tiny whoops and stuff like this, and this is something that you could do, around your family, around your friends, safely, and not hurt anybody. It's got foam protector all the way around it with cat hair already attached to it. That's free of charge, by the way. Goodness gracious. I think they're 1205 motors, 8,000 kV. It's a 2-inch prop, Gem fan, which I put all the way. I started to do this video yesterday and phone died, so I'm doing it all over again. But it's fantastic. I could not get over the fun that I had building it. Everything is plug and play, so if you're new into this, I'd recommend this quad for around 120 bucks, depending on what protocol you go with. Everything is included. Directions are kind of eh. I wasn't a fan of them. They were in black and white, hard to read. Canadian drone hub. So I ended up using some of the videos on YouTube. Albert Kim was a big video that I watched early on and found easy to follow. So I kind of followed along, paused, built. And again, for somebody that's never, ever, ever, ever built anything before, and hopefully has some kind of, technical ability, this is a no-brainer. This is simple. You attach your motors. 2 motors spin the same direction, these two and then these two. Two of them have red plugs, so you just kind of motor 2 and 3 have the red dot, and the other 2 don't. I mean, that's simple. And then they plug right in. Everything has a plug, like the camera to the VTX. The VTX gets plugged in twice because it's going from the board and then from the camera. Oh man, that monster's killing me. I spent a little extra time because you can't see it, of course. There's some hot glue there for the buzzer. The wires I hot glued around the TPU so they would never come loose. And I could see that being the only real problem with this, is that if you just kind of sloppily throw your wires in there, and then when you go to screw down certain parts of the board, you could tag those wires that are in between there, potentially fray or short something. So I glue them, especially because this thing's bouncing around and you bump into stuff. It will keep them safe. I fly Spectrum protocol. So the receiver for this is external. It means it's not built into the board, which means I had to find a spot for it. The wires for it are not long enough to kind of run in the back. I would have even put it on the top here, need be, but there was enough room between the board and the top. It's heat shrunk, and then just a drop of hot glue to hold it down. And then I went for the option of laying them across the top to keep them away from the props, because originally I had them coming up, but I could see going through a tight gap in a branch and then it just being pulled down. I did a little extra heat shrink on here if it ever were to break loose, to stop it from being cut in half. And then, like I said, just left them as wisps on the side, and they can be brushed. They're not going to go anywhere. It has the Insta360 mount, which is being charged at the moment, and Raider FPV is hooking me up and going to print a Insta SMO beta, whatever it is, mount for that. I want to get that camera next month. No naked GoPro. I wish they just made them and you could buy them, but that's not the case. So I'm gonna go with the Insta. I like how it works. I like the video quality. Man, and it's light. It comes with a Tattoo 450 milliamp battery, which I use just to test. I've had no luck with those batteries. I found that they just can't take the abuse. When I first started off, I think I was considerably more aggressive on the throttle and more of a freestyle pilot, so I beat the crap out of the batteries. And everyone swelled within at least 5 packs, or within. So I didn't like them, so I'll use it for something else. I actually am going to fly it with the 650 milliamp China line orange batteries that are charging right now. That's the 4S, which I won't use on that. This is the Tattoo. The strap that they give you with that is way too big to strap this thing down. It actually needs a tinier battery, but it works perfect with here. And then I got that crazy 3M, I think it's like Sherlock Velcro. Go back over here. So there's just a tiny piece inside here, and that will hold it down and it won't go anywhere. I don't have all the details. I forgot what the board was and all that stuff, but I mean, there's enough videos out there to give you that. If you're looking at, I want to give you my opinion, as in if it's worth buying if you're a novice pilot to a advanced pilot. You know, I've been flying for 7 years, FPV for 5, and I find this a phenomenal value. It's obviously purpose built. It's small. It's meant to carry a smaller camera or something like the SMO, and to get into places and around people safer. If you were to go to a park and you were to fly this around, or next to a park and there was other people and they saw you flying, they're not going to be bothered by this. It's not loud. It's not, you know, I had a unique Q500 Plus, which was, you know, props were like this wide with the quad is this table. As soon as that thing started up, everybody around you knew it was there. It was obtrusive as hell. It just made a lot of noise, and God forbid if it ever fell, it hurt somebody because it was heavy and big. This thing is not. It can get the job done with the SMO to get 4K, you know, 60 frames a second footage, and again, you get bumped by this. I don't have the scale, and if you look at other videos, it tells you the weight. It doesn't weigh anything. I mean, it's nothing. The battery literally weighs more than the quad. It's under the 250 gram mark, even with that battery and with the camera, which I'm happy about, so it's not going to bother other people. It does come with a whip antenna, which I'm surprised, and I swapped it out and put a little Foxeer. It's a Lollipop 3, I believe. Does it say? It says Lollipop. That's all it says. Super simple design. You can see where it connects, a little UFL connector. So I did 2 flights with it yesterday, and something that I never do is just bind, put together, blah, 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 and then go fly it. Usually I tune it because I already know how I like a quad to feel in the air, and I'm also a guy that tunes my quad on field, not black box. I know what the quad's going to do based on what I do for PIDs, and it's always the same, and then modified after based on the size of the quad, because no 2 quads will fly the same. So I put my general tune in, and then I'll go back in and just tweak it just enough to get it to where I want. But this I flew without, and I was insanely shocked on how smooth and how well, because this is designed to fly cinematic and chill, and it was right there. I only added just a touch higher on the eye gain on yaw, pitch, and roll. I upped it like 2 or 3 points. That was it. And I'm very, very pleased with how it flies. Everything else out of the box, I'm like, ugh. Like, this is one of my favorite quads, the 95 XV2, which has a brand new Rattel Starlight in it. Yeah, man, I am gassy today. Egg breakfast was great. Bacon and eggs. But I did not like how this flew out of the box. I just found it had a little bit of a jitter. It was like a Cadillac on a racetrack, honestly. And then after tuning, I feel like it's locked. This, I had to do basically nothing to it. I was like, wow. And that says a lot for me, because I'm a picky bastard with 99% of things in life. And I'd give you 2 thumbs up, but I can't get my other thumb out. I'm holding the phone. But it works for me. I think it's fantastic. Now, if you've been flying a long time and you're looking into doing something cinematic or something small or just something that is a fun little build that maybe fly around the house or whatever, it's for you. If you are first starting off, like Adventures with Jay, if you watch this video, bro, this is where you should start. The happymodel cine8. It is a good thing to start. If you're doing exploring in abandoned places, man, you could take this little guy with you, check out before you go walk in, make sure it's safe, or just get shots that you normally can't get by walking or your eye field of view. This could do it. And like I said, with a light camera, you could waterproof the board and do all that with conformal coating and make it more resilient. You can fly it in the rain, or if it happens to fall in a puddle inside of an abandoned building or whatever, and protect everything. Other than the antenna being where it's at, you could kind of put it in a small box type deal or a really tiny case and pack it away and go. Like, I love going hiking in the woods and taking a quad. You could take this guy, no problem. I mean, little dinky case, boom, and just modify or take this off. It doesn't take up any room. Yeah, I love my huge cinewhoops, but they take up room. And I end up having to carry one of them or try to get in the backpack with the controller. And my goggles aren't small, but no apologies. These, to me, are still one of the best goggles out. I've never had a problem. Great reception. The field of view is huge. Not for everybody. It's more of the exploratory type, because if you're flying chill, the field of view in it is the biggest out, so you can kind of look around and plan your where you want to fly. Can't say enough about them, but I really think this thing is for everybody. Teach kids to fly with it. I mean, there's just endless possibilities. Yeah, there's no soldering, and I hope there's not a pilot out there who goes, oh, that's that's not for me. I'm way above that. I fly race, or I fly and build, and it's not a full build, because they got their head up their ass. No, take a chance and look at it. I think it's absolutely worth it, and it's fun. It would have been cool if these things came in other colors, because me in green, a bright ass green one would have been cool. But I'm okay with it. It's cool. If it goes down, you're going to be able to find it, especially in the grass or in trees, green. I decided to name it because it's the cine8. I call it sinister. I thought it was a fun little play on words. I think it is a great addition to the arsenal. I could take a couple other quads instead of a cinewhoop and hopefully get the shot. I do think the only downfall to this would be is if it's slightly breezy, that because of its weight and being very light, you might have a harder time trying to keep your line. I think that would be like the only negative I could bring up. Like I said, I'm charging up batteries. I'm gonna get some flight footage. There's still some snow on the ground. It's cold out, but there's no wind, so it'll be perfect. So I'll take it a little bit into the woods and get you guys some cool footage, and I'll be using the Insta360 on it. Oh yeah, Cadex Ant. Very, very pleased with that. I think I have that. I didn't even think of that. I was like, how do I compare and talk about... That's darker over here. This is the Mobula 6 I call OJ. It's got an ant on it and Booger. Booger also has an ant. It's bigger. I think it's bigger than that one. Put that back over there. Maybe it's the ant light. It could be. Let me see if I can see underneath the bottom here. Yeah, who knows? 1200 TBL. You get a nice wide field of view. You can see what you need to see, and where I flew was kind of cloudy, overcast, and stuff like that. I had no problems with washout. It's fantastic. So I give it 2 thumbs up. I think it's absolutely worth it for around the $120 mark. I think you get a lot. I think you get a fun little build. You can be creative with it. You can modify it, I'm sure. Put components in other spots if need be. I'd say about an hour. You could build this in about an hour, taking your time or not. Excuse me. I recommend hot gluing inside where your long wires are to protect them. There are no motor screws on here. The shaft on here, the way the prop slides on, is locked in. It ain't coming off. Even trying to, where the hell is that thing? The USB to plug into, there it is right there. For Betaflight or SpeedyB app is right there, and it comes with an extra connector. I had to take this off, I forgot. And it's on there good, so they're not going anywhere. So you can save a little bit of weight, not that it's a lot. You don't need the motor screws, they are not coming off. It does come with bright yellowish green props, which are put away. I opted to go with the champagne and smoke from GemFan on here to kind of match the colors a little bit more. But I think you'd be quite pleased. It is a fun little quad. It's got an all-in-one board in there. I mean, it's, I think, 12 amp ESC. So you can still rip this thing if you tune it the right way. Again, I think it's for everybody. And there's a lot of potential for this little guy to go into places other quads can't, especially indoors. If you're doing like a commercial, style setup, like commercial flying 107, doing like hair salons or restaurants or something like that. This little guy obviously will squeeze in places that others won't, and if you're doing stuff like that where there are people involved, much safer. Much safer. And again, you could change the camera and put a better camera in it. You can put the 4K SMO or naked GoPro. There are mounts out there. So yeah, that's my review. I hope I didn't miss anything. If you have any questions or want detailed specs and stuff like that, there are plenty on YouTube, or hit me up and I will help you the best I can. And if somebody's looking at this, I hope somehow I've helped. And I will get you guys a video today. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. Peace out.